I have cast-ons aplenty to share with you today. Hello, my name is Emily Crow from The Cozy Crow, and welcome to my YouTube channel. I'm excited today to be doing podcast episode 46, I think, and I have a lot to share with you today. Lots of finished objects and lots of new works in progress as well. Okay, I am back. There was a bug in her goldfish crackers. A moth had landed in them, so I needed to get her some fresh crackers. She is not normally home when I am filming, but today is a little bit of a special day. We are doing her first dance class ever today. We are starting her in dance classes this fall, and she actually has an ice skating lesson as well. She's been really enjoying ice skating on her own, and so we thought it would be fun to do those classes. I'm really excited to see her grow and show interest in some things, and that she's old enough that we can do classes and stuff. So it's a really exciting time period for our family. It just means that we are a whole lot busier. And so she is home today so that she can go to those classes and that we can also have some fun hanging out together this afternoon after I get my videoing done. You can probably tell I cut my hair. I did try to curl it today. It's a little bit poodly still. My hair doesn't hold a curl very well, so I know it'll calm down by the time I have to actually go out in public, but you get a lot more volume than I typically have. But yes, I cut my hair. I even dyed it a slightly darker shade and a little bit red tinted, and I really loved it. Though right now it's still a little darker, I would say, and in the right lighting you can see the red, but it's kind of fading as of right now. But that's how it is. It was fun while it lasted, and I still really like my hair being short like this. Something fun and new and fresh that I needed. I'm also a little bit under the weather, so I do apologize for my voice. I've got lots of water here so I can hopefully make it through this podcast. I was sick a few days ago, like really not feeling good, and I'm definitely feeling better, but it's still lingering a little bit. Gotta blow my nose a lot. Sometimes gotta clear my throat. I sound a little gravelly, but we are here and I'm excited to be sharing with you the things that I've been working on because it's a lot. I definitely have gotten my knitting and crochet mojo back. Let's start with some finished objects because I've got quite a few to share with you. First, let's talk about some test knits that I recently completed. This is a cowl, the leafy transition cowl. Last I shared, I think I was just barely starting, or like either in the first or second color, but now you can see, sorry, it's been laying down, so it's a little crinkly, upside down. You can see these cool texture stitches that kind of resemble leaves. This is a really great, mostly mindless project where you only have a few rounds in between each color where you're actually doing something interesting, and the rest is just stockinette. And it is really nice to have a project like this. And this is really what kickstarted my knitting mojo again, because I could just do a ton of knitting in stockinette, round, and then I could just do a few rounds of something interesting, you know, keep my interest up as I was working on it. And then I could do some more just stockinette, round. It was fun to pick out colors that went together. A lot of these colors belong to a Lichen and Lace mini set, the Lilac Retreat mini set. I bought it from the Needlepoint Joint when I was doing my Utah yarn crawl, and then I just grabbed 3 or 4 other minis from my stash or other scraps from my stash that kind of complemented and made this color palette, which I'm really happy with. I did block it. I might need to block it again because I put it down and now it's all wrinkly, but I just love these colors together. So pretty. And yes, this was so fun to do. This pattern is coming out sometime in September, I think. TBD, but I'll make sure when the pattern is actually available, I'll try to go back and change my description box so that you can have the information. And as always, anytime I can, I try to link the pattern or designer as well as the yarn dyer or the source of the yarn so that you can go check it out yourself if you are intrigued. Though a lot of the hand-dyed yarns I have are not necessarily ones you can find on the dyer's websites, but you can know who the dyer is. So I like to credit them down below. Another test knit that I recently completed, this one was a super fast test knit and also kind of a scrap busting project. These are the Louise lace mitts from Rachel Raimo of Maven Handcrafted. Look at this beautiful texture. And now it's got some lace, it's got some twisted stitches, and it's got this cool like slip stitch type of detail. It's not actually cabling, so it was really fast to do, and I really had a lot of fun with it. These mitts, let me try one on and kind of show you. They are fingerless mitts. She has 3 sizes that are adult sizes you can have. They're just cute. I use Knit Picks palette in the color Ice Lily. I had like a skein and a little bit left in my stash from when I made a sweater a few years ago. And I use basically all of that extra skein and like maybe 2 yards out of my full skein. So it used 20 grams total for this pair. So really nice scrapbusting project, would be really great for gifts, especially because it's in a couple different adult sizes, and it was really fun to make. I think I spent 2 evenings knitting on these and then they were done super fast and really cute. I love the texture. Those are also coming out sometime soon and I do not know when, but I've also already submitted my test notes for this. This test has been completed, so these are coming up really soon, I think. I also completed my Musselburgh hat. Yay! Again, it's been lying there for a little bit because I had a big finishing spree like 2 or 3 weeks ago, and so these projects have been done for a while. This is a Musselburgh. I used Bird and Begonia yarn. This is the color Rachel, something like that. It just spelled a little different, so I'm not quite sure. I love how it's this beautiful warm beige, and it's got this cream with pink speckles and a couple other little random colors thrown in. This hat really fits my color palette, and I like how the pooling is kind of micro striping almost, and on the other side of the hat the striping pattern is actually different, which is kind of fun. It's more spread out and you can see more of that like darker tan striping too. So it's just kind of fun to see how hand-dyed yarn works up because it's not made by a machine, and so there's some variations that add a lot of interest and organicness to the piece, and I'm really excited about this. I really like working with this base. I know this was her old base, and so I'm not sure how their new base is for stock weight, but I really liked working with this old base that they had in stock. I had purchased this yarn from the Great Basin Fiber Arts Fair when I saw Bird and Begonia there, and so I was really happy to be able to work it up. I really wanted a hat like this. It's nice and neutral, but also a little bit unique and interesting with the stripes, and it's got like the pink and whatnot. So I'm really excited to be wearing this when the weather gets cooler. And that pattern, the Musselburgh hat, is by Isolde Teague. It's a great pattern for using up a full skein of fingering weight yarn if you are an adult. And I like to make mine, I don't want to put it back on my head because I don't want to mess up my hair even more, but I make it a little bit slouchy. So not quite as long as like the slouchy version in the pattern, because I have a smaller head, but I like a little bit of slouch, enough so that if I don't have the brim folded up, it just has a little bit extra that's loose on the top of my head, or I can fold up the brim, have extra cozy ears, and then it fits really snug on my head. That's kind of how I have found I like to knit this hat. I've knit, I think, 3 or 4 now, so maybe next time I do this pattern I should do something different, like do it ribbed or multicolored or something like that. It's a nice stockinette pattern, double thick beanie that is just a really simple make. That's a classic piece in my accessory wardrobe. And then the last 2 finished objects I have are 2 pairs of socks, 2 pairs of Journey socks. And let's see, I think this is the one that I was almost done with when I filmed my last podcast, but these are Journeys here. It's kind of hard to see because it's variegated, but these are the Journey socks by Heidi and Lana, and the colorway is by Teeny Button. It was part of their countdown calendar last December. They had 50 gram skeins for each of the weeks of December, and then on New Year's Eve, they had a full 100 gram skein. So this is the second 50 gram skein of that set, and this color is called Book Plate. A little hard for me to remember, but this is Book Plate. Definitely very moody, got some blue, green, almost like a scummy green in there too. My nails were supposed to look nice, and then right before this, I chipped my paint. So I finished that one, and then I also started and finished another set, and then I decided to take a break. I want to do Journey socks from all the yarn in this set so they can kind of coordinate and that I can have a lot of Journey socks to wear, but I needed to do something different, so I decided to stop after this next pair. This is my 3rd pair of the set then, and this is same pattern, same modifications that I'll tell you about in a minute, and the yarn is called Dust Jacket. This is a really moody purple. There's even little hints of that blue and that scummy green in there. These all coordinate in like a fade. And so I'm really excited to have all of the sets done and I can kind of intermix them and see how all the colors play together. I'm really excited for that. Modifications that I did. I lengthened this part of the journey sock because I guess the top of my instep, the bones like on the top of my foot are really high up. And so if I followed the pattern, it would be too tight. And so I just lengthened this bit so that where my sock is joined together, it's lower down on my foot a little bit so that it's not quite so tight there. So that's one of the things I do. I also just lengthened the heel flap so that it is the size of my normal heel flaps that I do for other socks, just for continuity's sake. I don't know how much it changes the fit or if it just makes my brain feel better to have everything match. And I do like this fit of the sock, how I've adjusted it. I also do my regular toe where I decrease every other round until I have 20 stitches left on each needle, and then I decrease every round until I have 10 stitches left on each needle, and then I do a Kitchener. Those are my journey socks. I've got this cute little set. The other one is in my closet where I keep my socks. But when I get back to this set, I will show you all of the socks together once they are all finally done. But the countdown calendar was cozy, bookish library next to a fireplace type of theme. And so they're all very like moody colors, really interesting variegated, and all have very bookish names. So that's the reason I got it last year. And it is really fun. A little bit different of a color palette for me. And so it's really fun for me to be able to use the yarn in these fun journey socks and to look forward to wearing them that way, because I don't see myself using these all in a project together because it's just a little bit too much going on for me personally. But because it is a fade, you could do it all in a project if that's what you wanted to do. So yeah, 5 finished objects. That's pretty good for me. And I have a ton of works in progress to share with you. Sure where I was at the end of July. So I'm going to share with you where it is now in case I have made zero progress, and so I can just cut this part out. I've got my journey socks. I have one entire sock finished. Definitely need to block it because it's a little bit crinkly, but I feel really good that that's finished. I honestly think I was like halfway through the foot, but I should have double checked before I filmed. And I really should be better about putting progress keepers in so I can mark my progress over the month. I finished the sock, which feels really good. I did not finish weaving in ends yet, but I did cast on my second sock, which is really important because if I hadn't, who knows when I would get around to that. But I cast on the second sock, I finished the cuff, and I joined in my main color so I can start doing this lace pattern. These will take a while. The goal was to have these socks done in July or for July. It's been a few years in the works, so they're gonna get done eventually. Yeah, so I should definitely make a point to do a repeat or two on those soon just to keep them going. But these are the July socks by Laura Moritz, and this yarn is Explore Knits and Fibers in the colorway Moonstone, and the mini is called Untamed. I'm gonna use up all that mini. There's not a lot left, so hopefully it makes it to the end of my project, because that would be really sad if it did not make it to the end of my project. But yes, so I have this in a little bin. This will get done eventually, maybe for next year's July. So that is like my longest standing whip that I've been actually kind of working on. Let's talk about a couple test projects that I have going on. So this one, I have not made a lot of progress, but oh my gosh, it's so cute though. I should definitely prioritize this soon. It'll be a pretty quick make because it's for my daughter. I'm making her socks. I'm doing some Dino Doodle socks from Jamie Lomax of Pacific Knit Co. I've started one chart. I'm gonna do like a big skull of a T-Rex here, and then I'm gonna do the heel and then do a couple smaller charts on the foot. I am really excited. I'm using a ton of scraps. I mean, I pulled a lot. I have a big bag full of scraps. I'm definitely not gonna use all of them, but it's fun to pull out a color palette and then I can figure out which ones I wanna use for what doodles. And so it's just fun to be able to use some of my scraps based on a couple colors that my daughter picked, and then I just kind of extrapolated and picked other colors in that same palette. So we're gonna see what I end up picking, but by the end of this month, I should have that pair finished to show off to you. Then my Dino Doodle socks are currently in the only bag I had around. which is from White Rose Fiber Co. from Sockmas a couple years ago. Just a super cute pattern. Came with a little marker on it, but I just needed a small bag and this is what I had. So that's the project that's in there. So I'm actually modifying the pattern a little bit. Jamie, for her doodle patterns, gives you the doodles. She also gives you instructions for the single-sided cowl or the double-sided cowl, and you can decide what you want to do for the test just to showcase those doodles. But you can also branch out and do other things like the hat or socks, or I guess you could even make a doodle sweater if that's what you wanted, but you have a lot of flexibility with it. And so I wanted to make dinosaur socks for my daughter. She loves dinosaurs, and I am recently on a dinosaur kick. I read Dragon Teeth by Michael Crichton, and then Jurassic Park by Michael Crichton, and then The Lost World by Michael Crichton, and I've got a couple nonfiction books about dinosaurs on my TBR right now. I'm also in my dinosaur era, and I thought it would be really fun to knit these socks, and I thought my daughter would really like having a pair of dinosaur socks. So she helped me pick out some of the motifs that she wants me to use, and I'm just really excited to see them come to life. And that should be a pretty quick make once I get to working on that a little bit more. That test is going to be finished not too long from now, so I'm going to get right to work pretty soon. I am also testing a pattern from Janine Miska's newest crochet book, and I can't remember what this one's going to be called. I do own her other book, which is really exciting. I'm really excited to be part of this test crocheting group for her patterns. I think she's just about finishing with her book this early fall, so maybe the book will be out next year. I'm not sure, but I am almost done with the back panel of this pattern. Ta-da! So you can see this is where I started. I've just got a little bit more of the like armhole shaping, shoulder shaping type of thing to go on, and then I'll be done with the back panel. This is the Coachella Valley button up. I am using Knit Picks woolen cotton in the color Sean Heather. Woolen cotton is a DK yarn. I'm looking at my tag right now. 50% merino wool and 50% Pima cotton. And the yarn that Janine uses for her version is also a cotton and wool blend, and I felt like in my research that this yarn would be the closest fit, both gauge wise but also like fiber content wise, to what she was using. But I wanted to order from Knit Picks or We Crochet. They're the same thing. They have slightly different stock, but they're the same company basically. And I've got an affiliate link down below, so if you're interested in shopping through Knit Picks or We Crochet, you can use that link, and in doing so, you can support me and my channel at no extra cost to you. So that link is down below if you're interested. I'm really excited to get the back panel done, and then we're gonna do a front panel. It is a button up, but it's a short sleeve button up. There's a little collar detail. There's like button up all down front. It'll kind of be shaped like this shirt maybe, though the sleeves will be separate rather than like all in one piece with the top. I'm really excited. This will be a really fun end of summer piece to finish. I won't get a lot of wear out of it, I don't think, by the time I finish this test in a few weeks, but I'll probably get a little bit of wear, and it'll just be a fun summery layering piece that I can see myself wearing. My marker I'm using on this, I probably had to cut the audio out of it hitting my desk a lot for this little clip. I'm using, this is a Denim and Rain fiber resin stitch marker. It's a cute little mushroom. I love it. I'm just using it to kind of like mark my repeats. So I'm like, okay, now I'm on the shoulder shaping section. Let me mark the beginning of that section so I can keep track of my repeat type of thing. And that's been really helpful for me. And yeah, almost done with the back panel. Getting a lot of work done. I've got my Coachella Valley button up in this old bag from Fantasy Sprites Studio. I bought it off their Etsy. I worked with them custom wise to like choose fabric for this. I don't think they make bags anymore. This was years and years ago. This has been my tried and true sock project bag for a long time, and this project is actually outgrowing this bag pretty soon. And that is crochet. I have not been doing a lot of crochet, and that's been fun to do something a little different because knitting has a chokehold on me, and I really enjoyed knitting, and so it's fun to go back to my roots of crochet because I do also enjoy crocheting. I just tend to enjoy the aesthetic of knitting patterns that I run across more than the crochet patterns I run across online. I actually filmed a vlog where I started casting on a ton of projects because I was getting my mojo back. I was excited to start some new things because I had finished a few projects, and so I did this vlog where I cast on a whole bunch of stuff. Well, first I did some brainstorming and I pulled some yarn from my stash, and then I cast on a bunch of projects. So that vlog is coming soon. I am in the process of editing it, but these are a couple of projects that I cast on as part of that vlog. I have not made a lot of progress on this one because something else has been catching my eye, but I decided to kind of pivot from my original plan, and I'm using this Fia yarn from Explore Knits and Fibers. It's kind of hard to capture. It's just a really subtle pastel variegated yarn. And I was gonna do something else, but I just wasn't feeling the color work or the style I was envisioning. And so I am really happy that I'm gonna be making a ranunculus. And so I cast it on. I think I'm doing the wider neckline for this. I can't remember if I'm doing the wider neckline for this. I think I might be doing the wider neckline because I didn't feel like it'd be too much wider because I'm doing one of the very smallest sizes. I don't like these huge oversized fit that some of these have, but I'm really excited to have that. I've got plenty of yarn so I can make it long sleeves and I can make it not cropped if I want. I really love my other ranunculus, so I'm excited to work on that one when I get a chance. But another sweater has actually been really piquing my interest, and I've been spending a lot more time on this other sweater that I've got going on, so I haven't given this one as much love. I do have it in a fun new bag that I got. This is a Beautiful Sister bag that came in my Dragon Teeth yarn box from Yarnaceous Fibers, which is really fun. I love the like fossily details. You can see there's like skulls and stuff, which is really fun. So yeah, this is a really sturdy bag. I think these ties kind of close it up a little bit, but I have it open just because it's at home right now. It was a really fun box, and I have vlogs for those yarn and book boxes that I do, both from Yarnaceous Fibers has been doing them, and Wilbury Fiber Co. has a few boxes that they've been doing. And so you can watch those vlogs. I'll make sure to link the Dragon Teeth one up above and down below, and I'll put my playlist down below as well, so you can check out the book and yarn combo box vlogs, because those have been really, really fun. This sweater that has my heart that I am loving right now. I am really far, and it actually, this is the Everett pullover by Fine Fiber Co. And I am just about doing my armhole shaping. This is a bottom-up sweater. It's my first time doing a bottom-up sweater, which is kind of terrifying, but so far so good. I'm about to do the armhole shaping, and then I will do the back panel and the front panel separate, and then join at the shoulders and then add the sleeves, I think is how the construction goes. But look at this beautiful cable pattern. I wanted this as a Christmas sweater for a long time, and I just really love these little cables, these little twists. And it just makes me think of ribbons and very holiday vibes. I'm using Knit Picks Swish Worsted in the color Garnet Heather, which is a favorite color of mine. I've used it in some other projects too, and I just thought it was the perfect Christmas color. This will be done way before Christmas, so maybe I'll get 2 Christmas sweaters knit this year, but I'm really happy with this. I honestly love using Swish yarn because it's just so smooth and you don't have to worry too much about like dye lots and stuff. They do a really good job, and 50-gram skeins, and so you use them up really fast, which is also very satisfying. I have this project in a project bag from Ashley Grace Art on Etsy. I'll link it up above and down below. This was like a mystery Christmas project bag that I got from her Etsy shop last year. Super, super cute. So yeah, I had this in a smaller bag, but now I've gone through a few skeins and my sweater is getting kind of big, so I had to move it to a bigger project bag, and I am really enjoying it. It's been so fun. Not hard at all. Cables are kind of infrequent, but they add a lot of movement to the design of the piece. The one thing is, I know that this designer was working on making this pattern more size inclusive. I don't know if that change has been made yet to the pattern, so this may not be as size inclusive as it should be, though I know that the designer had said that they were going to work on the sizing for this pattern, but I haven't followed up on that, unfortunately, so I do apologize for that. But I had purchased this pattern before I realized it wasn't size inclusive, so hopefully the designer has made those changes so that more people can make this pattern. I've got a couple other projects that I've just casted on and not done a lot with that I want to show you. This is the Tea Leaves sock pattern by Carly Perrins, and I've modified it to fit my daughter. You can see it's kind of little. I've started on this texture. There's some cool twisted stitches. It's just a really fun texture to do. I really enjoyed making socks for myself, and my daughter really liked them, and so I decided to make some for her. She wanted just plain white socks, so I've just got plain white yarn, Cascade Heritage sock yarn. It's kind of like an off-white maybe. It's not like a super, super stark white. You can see right here where I joined this fold over cuff. This is where a ruffle is gonna go. And so it's gonna be super cute. And I honestly think that my daughter wants a pretty short sock, so I think I might start working on the heel really soon, actually, and get this going. Super fun little project I can take with me. And this project bag is from, I bought this at Woolen Folk, the Faded Woolen Folk last year. This is from Cottontail Farm. It's got these cute hedgehogs. Nice little carrier. It can unsnap right here, so you can like loop it onto things. Just nice and small. Good for a one skein project. Sometimes I try to be thematic and sometimes I can't. Like I ran out of project bags, so I just am using this reusable Ziploc type of thing that's like not food safe or anything, just for storage, organizing. And I cast on an Alaska hat by, this name, Camille Descoteaux. I apologize if I'm pronouncing that wrong, but I just have a little bit of the brim done. Just working on this. I cast on, got it started, so when I'm in the mood to work on it, I can keep going. I'm gonna be using Camber's Cozy Creation yarn in the Void, and Aurora Borealis, I think is this color. It was from a colorway club that she did, I think in 2023. She had some really beautiful inspiration pictures and I love it. And I think that Kimber also was working on an Alaska hat or Alaska sweater or something with this kind of combo, and it sold me and I needed it and I bought the yarn for it. I've got this cute little like yarn sweater, yarn cozy from Pink Waffle that also came in a Yarnaceous Fibers book box. So I think this one was for the Hades and Persephone saga book, A Touch of Darkness. Don't quote me on it though. That was a little while ago. So yeah, this is ready to go whenever I am ready to work on it. And that's the nice part about when I'm in the mood to cast on a lot of things, and now I have a lot of projects available for different types of moods or different types of projects. I also have a couple socks that I'm working on, some sock designs that I cannot show you, that I am designing for Dying Wishes Yarn Co.'s December countdown calendar boxes that is inspired by nostalgic or vintage Winnie the Pooh. I am really happy with how the designs are working out. I had an idea in mind and I've had to restart the patterns multiple times because it just was not working out how I envisioned, but I'm really happy with how it's looking right now. And these patterns, both the finger weight and the DK version, will be available in the box corresponding with the yarn weight, and I'm going to have those patterns available also on my shops on Ravelry and Etsy. So if you didn't purchase the box, you can still get these patterns when they are revealed in January. They're going to be a secret up until then, which is really exciting, and I'm just so happy that they're finally working out. Let's talk about some fun new yarn goodies. I've just got a couple fun things to share with you today. My subscription era. I've had lots of subscription boxes that I've been really enjoying recently. I've already talked about Yarnaceous Fibers a few times. I mentioned Woolberry Fiber as well, and they've been doing some book inspired yarn boxes, which has been really fun, but I'm also doing a few other subscriptions now. And so let me show what I've got. This is Woolberry Fiber Co. from the Pride and Prejudice Club, and this is the Bennett Sisters sock set. It's almost done. I think I just have 2 more skeins coming. I think the 6th skein might have shipped. I can't remember, but we're getting close to the end of this club and it's been really fun. I'm not sure what I'll make, maybe a blanket or something using all the skeins together. I haven't quite decided. I wanted to see how they all played together, but it's based off of the 2005 movie with Keira Knightley, which is also a good one. I'm not a snob, okay? I'm really excited. Once I have all the yarn, maybe I'll watch the movie and decide what I want to make. Another club that I was doing that I actually am finishing up with, I just felt like I was ready to move on to something else. This is Forbidden Fiber Co. And this is the color Travel on their Pride base. You can see it's got all the sparkles and this is super fun. The greens and pinks and purples. This is from the Novel Notions Club, where they would dye a skein of yarn based on a book. And it was more based on like maybe mood. It wasn't necessarily based on the cover of the book. They would pick a genre and then pick a book within that genre to have like a book club meeting about and to talk about the book and what projects they're making. I have not had a chance to join them for the book club. I've gotten a few skeins of this. This is maybe my 4th or 5th skein, and it just felt like I just didn't know what to do with these yarns. They are different bases. I could choose the weight, but there's multiple bases that use fingering weight yarn, which means I can't necessarily use all of these in the same type of project, depending on what project I pick. Of course, if I do like a shawl or something, I could probably make it work, but I can't use them all together in a project as easily. A lot of the colors in previous months looked kind of similar, so it wasn't really adding a lot to my stash. I like that this one's different, and I think I have one more skein that is coming, and so we'll see what that looks like. I had fun trying it out, but I felt like it was ready to move on from that subscription, but they are still doing that subscription. So if that's something that you want to try, maybe try out a few of their bases or see what their dye style is like, you can still do that. And it is fun having it inspired by some books. And I have read a couple of the books that have inspired these yarns, which has been also fun, just like another like TBR motivator, I guess. And then this subscription that I just started, just kind of replacing one subscription for another. This is from Kettle and Hearth Fibers. I was their ambassador a few months ago, and I really loved trying out their yarn, and I wanted to support them because I really liked their dye style. This is an Ember sock set, the September Club. It's called Pine Cone. It's the Garden Stroll sock set club, and so this is really pretty, perfect for the fall. And it came with a cute little stitch marker that looks almost like maybe like a sunflower. So cute. I am excited to see more yarns that come my way for that. I like nature and nature-y inspired things and flower inspired things, so I think that it's gonna be a hit for me. And then finally, the last yarn goodie that I got is really actually cool. The publisher of this crochet pattern book reached out to me and asked if I'd be interested in getting an early copy of this book, The Art of Crochet with Sock Weight Yarn by Caitlin Ostafew of Sass and Stitch. And I was blown away that someone thought of me and thought that this would be a good fit, because it is such a good fit for me and my brand. Can you even call it a brand? I don't know. But this just made me so happy, and I was so excited to see a book like this. Caitlin Ostafew has a ton of crochet patterns, and she designs a variety of things. And I think it's super cool that she wrote this book intended to be used for hand-dyed fingering weight yarn, because I feel like there's a lot of snobbery in the fiber arts where people feel like hand-dyed yarn is for knitting projects and crochet is more budget-friendly or acrylic yarns. And if that's what you want to use for your projects, it doesn't matter. I think that's totally fine. But I love that she is filling a niche in the community and really encouraging perspectives that you can use hand-dyed yarn for crochet as well. You don't have to just use more budget-friendly yarns. And so I really like that she's contributing to this aesthetic and that she's encouraging the use of hand-dyed yarns for crochet projects, because I think they are just as beautiful as hand-dyed yarns used for knitting projects. And I love there's such a variety of patterns, and this top is actually size inclusive up to 5X, which I really appreciate and support. There's a lot of different things. There's this sweater, which is really cool, also size inclusive. We've got this hat that's sized for kids too. She had a baby in the process of this, which is wild. I can't get anything done, and I don't even have a newborn. Got this pillow, got some blankets. There's some projects in here that are specifically for one skein of yarn. There's projects intended for multiple skeins. There's project intended for scraps or avant style yarns. And so look, you've got like this cool shawl, there's some blankets. It's just like, this is a really great crochet book that, like I said, it fills a spot in the crochet community that I don't see. I really appreciate what Caitlin is doing with this book and how it is providing patterns and support for crocheters who want to use hand-dyed yarns. I feel like this is a really great resource, so I definitely recommend it. I've looked through it already, and I have a project in mind. Let me show you the one I'm thinking of. Where is it? Where is it? The Eloise hair bow. Especially now with my short hair, I do some half up styles a lot, and so that's gonna be so cute. I need to pick yarn for that so I can start that. That'll be a fun like weekend project to just knock out. The Art of Crochet with Sock Weight Yarn by Caitlin Ostafew just came out this week, and so definitely check it out if you haven't pre-ordered it yet. I highly recommend it, not just because I was given a free copy, but because I really love what Caitlin is doing with this book, and I feel like this is a really great pattern book to add to your library if you are a crocheter. All right, I am surprised that that video is as short as it is considering how many projects I talk about. I am really excited to be able to finish some projects and start a whole bunch of new things that I've been thinking about casting on. And I am loving that I have this mojo going on that I didn't before. Let me know what projects you're working on, because I would love some more inspiration, especially if I'm crocheting and knitting at such a fast pace. I will be casting on some more things later this month, I'm sure. And so I'd love some ideas, especially as we're moving into the fall and winter months. Let me know what you're making for this season, and if there's anything that is catching your eye, or if you've made any of these patterns that I am currently working on. I don't know if any of them, other than my test knits, I don't think any of these patterns are particularly new, and so maybe you have made some of these patterns, and I would love to hear your experience working on these projects if you have made them before. Thanks again so much for watching and for being a part of my community here. If you've not subscribed, I definitely encourage you to subscribe and hit the bell notification so you can be notified whenever I post a new video, not only for these podcasts but also videos about the books that I'm reading and the book and yarn boxes that I do and other fun vlogs in the cozy realm. Until next time, happy making. Bye!